I've had probably
Interesting.
3 patients or cases that I can definitively say that's what was going on, Munchausen syndrome by proxy. In all 3 cases, it was the mother. So I'm pretty particular about my documentation as a nurse, and so I was very thorough, where a lot of other nurses, because we're so busy and overwhelmed, might not have taken the time to document everything that they observed, the suspicious behavior. I did. Probably Child Protective Services. I'm sure at some point, social work in the hospital contacted them, and that probably got the ball rolling, if I had to guess. And in the case I referenced, one other nurse did. And so the two of us were called to testify in front of a grand jury for this case. Yeah, and it led to prosecuting the mother.
It's freaking crazy. Crazy
It is.
world.
I know. We
So
see a
how'd you get
lot.
it?
A
Yeah, I mean,
lot.
I'm just like, can't believe this actually happens.
It's
Well, I
just
mean, okay, so
interesting
let
how
me ask
people's
you.
mind.
When did I see you?
So, yeah, I don't know when was that concert that you came to Vegas for at the Sphere? Was that in
Actually,
the spring?
it may have been earlier. It may have been in February or March, and I came to see Dead and Co. R.I.P. Bob
Yeah.
Weir.
Oh,
I don't know if
yeah.
you're a fan, but he just passed away, and that's a bummer because I wanted to come back this year, see him at the Sphere, and come get drinks and brunch with you.
Well, come on. I'm ready.
Epic.
How did you even meet?
I came across Jake's story online and reached out and asked him to be a guest on my podcast on Nurses Uncorked. So he was. We did a
Oh,
2-part episode. It's episode 88 and 90 if anybody wants to go back and listen to it. And
yes.
then a few months later, he messaged me that he was coming to Vegas. So I met him down on the strip and we had a good time.
Oh,
We
that's
had a
awesome.
we had a great time. How did I do? That was early podcasting for me before Blink, and that was the start of my PR tour. How did I do for your episode?
No, you were great. And I think Blink was just coming out, I believe, at that point. Because we talked
Yeah.
about it. Yeah. On the podcast.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was coming out in like a few months, and it was like part of my strategy to go on multiple podcasts. So anyway,
Yeah.
Erica, I'm super rude. I didn't intro Adrian. You may have
Hello.
you may have
Oh,
recognized
what?
her voice from Blink, but
Absolutely.
basically this is my ex, and now we have podcasts together.
It's pretty cool.
The world works in mysterious ways.
It sure does. It sure does. It's definitely been a crazy, crazy ride. We've known each other since we were like 13. So
Oh my
it's been a
gosh.
long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So everybody knows me as Nurse Erica or the Nurse Erica on social media. I'm obviously a registered nurse and I do a lot of education and content outreach surrounding advocacy for nurses and for the nursing profession. Because if you don't know, the nursing profession is dying a slow and horrible, torturous death. So there's a
It
lot of
is.
issues at play, and that's kind of what I talk about a lot online and on my own podcast as well.
How long ago did you get into advocacy?
Right at the beginning of COVID, my both my kids
Okay.
were living at home. My son moved back home because of COVID, and I kept hearing about this thing called TikTok. And I had no idea. This is like 6 years ago. And I literally downloaded the app to spy on them because I'm a total helicopter mom and
That's funny.
started
It is.
like hearing all the nurse talk side of things. And it was amazing and entertaining. And I was obsessed with it. But what I noticed is there really wasn't anything from like a nursing leadership perspective. It was all from bedside nurse perspective, which was great. But I thought, you know what, at that point, I had been in leadership for a few years and I saw everything that happened behind the curtain, all the corruption in healthcare. And I thought, I really
Oh.
have a story to tell. And one thing that I've never lacked in is courage. So I will always be very transparent and straightforward about things. And so I just started talking about it on social media, and it resonated. And here I am 6 years later, and I'm requested to fly around the country and give keynote speeches and come to nursing strikes and nursing rallies. I host group trips for nurses. So it's really kind of taken on a life of its own, and I love it. I love every minute of it.
It's
That's
amazing. I feel like that's like a short amount of time for it to have grown into like this huge, huge thing, but there's such a big need for it in the healthcare field.
was gonna
Absolutely.
say too, you have quite a following, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it compares to you these days, but yeah, I mean,
I
I've
think it
got like
does.
600,000 something on TikTok and few 100,000 on Instagram and Facebook and all of that. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty substantial at this point.
When I grow up, I want to be like you. You definitely got me beat.
I don't know about you're slaying the podcast world though. Absolutely slam. So happy for you and your success. What you've managed to accomplish from this tragedy that you've been through. You deserve every minute of the success.
Thank you so much. And if I recall, I actually do have a memory by some grace of God. You are, I don't know, a hospice nurse. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. So most of my background is pediatrics. I've done everything in the pediatric world for 20 plus years. But a few years ago, I transitioned into hospice, but with a concentration in pediatric hospice. So I do a lot of
Oh my
program development.
goodness.
I know that's everybody's reaction.
Hospice in
I know.
general would be difficult for me, but
Yeah,
pediatric hospice is just like another level.
it is. Yeah.
As somebody that's been on hospice, I remember when you told me that, I was like, oh boy, that's rough. And then you
Yeah.
told me pediatric hospice. I remember when you told me that at this, what's that restaurant called that we're at?
Mona Miga Bee. It's on the strip at Paris Casino, and it's my
It was
favorite. I always take people there.
super
It
nice.
sounds cool.
Thank you for taking me there. You can watch the fountains. Great day.
Yeah.
I think we are there for like 4 hours. And I remember you told me pediatric hospice nurse. And I was like, oh my God, I can't even. And then you said something to me that made a lot of sense. You're going to want someone that really cares, someone that's good there for that situation. I forget how you worded it. Yeah, that would suck if it was just like some repairman fixing a dishwasher that came in while your child was out the door. So
Yeah.
anyway, props to you for doing that.
Thank you. And then
How'd
we
you
talked
get
about
into nursing?
Munchausen, didn't we? Remember that day?
Oh,
Because I've had a lot of
Yeah.
i- experience with Munchausens, and I know that was like something you were kind of chipping away at because of your story at that point, right?
Yeah, I kind of forgot that. I remember talking to you about, because Blink was out at this point, but it wasn't finished. And I don't know, maybe like 4 episodes were out. And
Yeah.
you were like, where is it going? It's so good. And I was like, you cannot tell. But I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you something.
Got the scoop.
That's when, yes, I remember the Munchausen by Proxy talk started. And I could not believe you as a nurse have witnessed this. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds
I've had probably
interesting.
3 patients or cases that I can definitively say that's what was going on, Munchausen syndrome by proxy. In all 3 cases, it was the mother. And I should say in this day and age, it's called factitious disorder. It's kind of changed the name. But yeah, that's a real thing, and it's more common than people realize. I've actually had to go to court and testify against a parent because my documentation basically gave the prosecutors enough to prosecute the mother and take custody away. It's a crazy thing to witness, and it's very, very hard to diagnose and prove because the
Yeah.
caregivers are often very manipulative, very skilled at like they'll just switch up doctors so no one catches up with them, especially in the case of kids. They'll just keep going to new pediatric specialists. And so by the time you start to think something's not right, they've moved on. Sometimes they even have a medical background themselves. And so they know enough to like fool the medical professionals.
And kept everything organized, and I'm sure she learned a lot about what was going on, learned a lot about medical stuff, the language that, people use in healthcare facilities, all that kind of stuff. She probably did a lot of research.
Fuck, Jesus. Erica, can you go into detail on how you spotted this? You've had
Yeah.
3, but maybe take your pick.
Yeah. Yeah. So, these are kids that we will get to know in a hospital setting because the parents just keep bringing them in because they keep wanting the attention typically that goes along with having a sick child. So you get to know the patient, the family dynamics because they're there all the time. And when they are hospitalized, it's often for a prolonged period of time. So you see things that you're not supposed to see. If you come in the room unexpectedly and maybe you don't knock, and then I know in my case, I would see the mom pushing aggressively down on the child's stomach, and they had a feeding tube. And so then they would say
Oh my
that
God.
that they threw up. Well, yeah, of course they did because you're pushed in there,
That's
or
crazy.
it is, but it happens all the time. Or you'd go in and the pumps would be disconnected or unplugged, the battery would be dead, or something that they're not supposed to touch. And they've been told repeatedly, do not touch the equipment. If it beeps, you need to call us. And they will manipulate it, and then you'll give them specific instructions like, okay, well, if they throw up, you need to save it, like save the blanket or whatever that they throw up on, because we need to see it. We need to be able to quantify it. And they just never will. You'll tell them 30 times and they just never will do what you're telling them to do. So it's a lot of little things that over time really paint a picture of suspected abuse. So in my case, it was always pediatric patients and the parents, but that's not always the case. Sometimes it's a significant other, like in your case. Sometimes it's an adult child taking care of elderly patients. You can see Munchausen syndrome by proxy or factitious disorder. It's alarming when you begin to recognize the signs. But like I said, they get away with it a lot, and it's really hard to catch it and diagnose it.
Did you prove this? Like you said, you had to go to court. Is it
Yeah.
because
So I'm pretty particular about my documentation as a nurse. And so I was very thorough, where a lot of other nurses, because we're so busy and overwhelmed, might not have taken the time to document everything that they observed, the suspicious behavior. I did. Probably Child Protective Services. I'm sure at some point, social work in the hospital contacted them, and that probably got the ball rolling, if I had to guess. And in the case I referenced, one other nurse did. And so the two of us were called to testify in front of a grand jury for this case. Yeah, and it led to prosecuting the mother.
this was actually inpatient in the hospital? This wasn't
Yeah.
home hospital. Wow,
Yeah.
it's fucking crazy. Crazy
It is.
world.
I know.
So
We see a
how'd you get
lot.
it? Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, can't believe this actually happens.
Well,
It's
I
just
mean, okay, so
interesting
let me
how
ask
people's
you.
minds work.
In your case, I know you were suspecting that. Do you really think that your ex-wife was doing something like that for the purpose of getting attention for herself? Because that's usually where the motivation comes from.
Okay, here's what I think.
Okay.
I think it is possible,
Okay.
possibly even probable, that she inadvertently had something to do with this toxin that I inhaled. I don't think she needed to make me any sicker. I think the progression of this disease was crazy. Granted, I had a feeding tube and I have no idea what she was putting in it, because the kind of being paralyzed and nonverbal. It's not like I could be like, can I have more or less meds? I know for a fact she was like trying, because I overheard it, these, what's that like weed thing that's not weed?
CBD?
Yeah. High doses of like CBD in my feeding tube,
That's
extra
interesting.
Dilaudid here and there. I think she absolutely, without a doubt, was attention seeking.
I agree with
I
that.
do not think, but I don't fucking know, that she was keeping me sick. I don't think she was keeping me sick, but I don't know.
I think she liked the recognition and the attention that she got for being a caretaker, though, and I think she liked having the control over you. And then once you started getting better and the focus kind of, it was always on you, but like turned more to you, and kind of she fell to the wayside a little bit. That's when she disappeared.
I mean, absolutely. As soon as I could communicate, it was either like, oh no, he's getting better, I'm out of here, I don't like that. Or,
Yeah.
oh shit, all that shit I said that he overheard, fuck, I gotta go. One or two, or no, but absolutely attention seeking. I always said she's Munchausen by proxy esque or ish or whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it.
A little sprinkle.
But the fact is, she's a fucking mystery, and I've kind of come to, what's the word? I've got
Acceptance.
some, yeah, acceptance of the unknown, the fact I'll never know, because she hid under a fucking rock and she's never going to tell her side of the story. If you hear this, I hope you change your name and go to live on a little boat with no running water in Vietnam, because nobody will recognize you there.
You never know, you might have fans over there.
You probably
Maybe.
do.
Once we, you think?
Yeah.
It's
Blink
very
Yeah.
possible.
Blink has been huge.
I mean, I can look.
Yeah.
I can look at my analytics and see how many people in Vietnam listen.
Has she ever come
Sorry, that
forward? I
was
know
weird.
she threatened to like sue you or something at some point, if I remember, but has anyone seen her face? Like, has she ever come forward in that sense? Because I know you didn't even share
She
her
has never.
name, right? For a long time.
No, in fact, I never did. This is so good you brought this up. Her
Yeah.
lawyer, they never even brought a lawsuit for clout, made a Facebook post saying, I'm representing Ellen Trapp against Jake Handle Blink 30 days before I even knew it was happening. And then one person liked it when I saw it 30 days later. I screenshotted that and I blew it up on my Instagram because I was like, great, I'm respectful
It's
enough to
out
not do
there.
that. But your own
Yeah.
lawyer did that.
That's crazy.
I mean,
Lawyer.
it's not.
Yeah, because that's not how you do that. Yeah, I'm sure that wasn't even a real attorney.
That is,
Yeah.
how do you, yeah, you're making Facebook posts about your clients?
Instead of
That's
serving them
crazy.
with a
I'd be
lawsuit. Yeah.
pissed. Yeah, I'd be pissed.
But they never filed anything. And the answer to your question is no, she has never made a statement. She refused our request to come on Blink. What she wanted with this lawsuit that was never filed was a public apology, a retractment on two things specifically. She has never done drugs in her life, which is
That's a wild thing to try to say.
asinine. That's insane. I mean, for anyone to say that, it's like, okay, sure. Secondly, that she did not, the sperm incorrect that was approved and all that. And she wanted $4,000, as I recall. That's what she
That's
wanted.
it.
And
Such a random number. Just $4
yeah,
grand.
yeah, I would have asked for a little more, or made a statement. I mean, what really confused me is, why wouldn't you make a statement and be like, look, Jake was the asshole. He lied to me about his drug use, which, true. He got sick from this rare thing. I stuck with my husband, who I hated. I nursed him back. Well, I nursed him to his death, but he lived. And once he lived, great. I want to get the fuck away
ditched.
from him. I mean, that is kind of a hero story. It's like, oh, the husband you hated, you stuck with him to his death, but he didn't die, and then you left. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Why not say that? But
Yeah.
she did
Anything.
all this crazy shit with the isolation and the this and the that, and yeah. Anyway, it's just too much at this point, I think, for her to be like, because I believe she knows if she makes a statement that anybody would be like, well, what about this? And then she would say, oh, well, this happened. And I'll say, we got a court record right here that says this happened. And all of a sudden, she's caught in a lie. Anyway, she goes. So I think she's smart enough to have made the decision. As much as I hate this, I really can't talk, or else I'm going to dig myself into the deeper hole. So
Yeah, she knows she did
congratulations,
something
you're
wrong.
kind of still smart. But fuck you very much.
You're very much. I want to see what she looks like.
So,
I've never seen what she looks like. I'm curious.
you will. The
Okay.
whole world
Okay.
will. Everything is about timing, Erica. You know this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's just say, there's some more exciting stuff in the works, and
Ooh,
everyone will,
really?
and
I'm so
You'll get to see
excited. I'm
her.
curious.
the man with the plan, the disabled man with the plan.
But you're doing so good. I've been watching all your videos. You're just like leaps and bounds ahead of where you even were when I got to meet you last year. I feel like you're coming so far so fast.
For
It probably
sure.
doesn't feel that way for you, but
It does
The
not.
progress is crazy.
It does not.
yeah.
And I'm particularly down on myself lately about my progress. And a lot of it was, the stupid thing. It's like if I have an itch on my nose, I have to be so careful not to whack
You have to
this
go around
it.
it.
stupid microphone. I don't know how the sports broadcasters deal with this. But yeah, with the winter, I haven't been, I got to practice my walking on a grassy, soft surface, or else it triggers my ataxia and I get nervous. And then I have osteopenia of probably a lot of my body, but we just did this thing called a DEXA scan, I believe. And we want to put me in hockey pads and PT and start practicing falling, not in the grass, but on the indoors. And so we got the scan, and my hips are okay somehow. My spine is not. And let me ask you this question. Which would you rather have osteopenia? Your hips or your spine?
It's probably,
I don't think
but
either is very good.
neither. Yeah. It's not surprising though that you have osteopenia. I mean, I'd be shocked if you didn't after what you've been through.
I like to think I'm Superman, but I'm not.
You are still susceptible to things.
I think, you
Is
can
it
get a hip.
just in your spine?
I thought they were scanning my entire body. They
Yeah.
only did my hips and my spine. So out of those two, it's not in the hips. I'm surprised it's not in the hips. I asked you that question because you can get a hip replacement. I don't believe you can get a spine replacement.
No, I don't think you
But
can.
but you can work on you already do all the physical therapy on the strengthening and conditioning and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and I
Weight
take
bearing.
my calcium. But when
Yeah.
I fall indoors, it's inevitable. I'm gonna break my spine.
Don't say that. That's not inevitable.
You don't think so? Once
No.
I
Have
really
they-
start cruising.
Once I start cruising.
Once I start
Have
cruising.
you seen those like
Have they
ever
bubble
done
wrap outfits now for people that are prone to
Oh,
falling?
you could be Bubble Boy.
I never
it's like
even
a
You could be
watched
vest.
Bubble Wrap Boy.
It's just like
I
a vest
saw-
that you wear, but it senses when you're falling, and then it like an airbag, it kind of opens up, and so you don't get hurt when you fall.
That's awesome.
It senses which side I'm keeling over, and it deploys an airbag and bounces me back up.
Somehow I'll find a video and send it to you. It's pretty impressive. Like this whole thing comes out of nowhere and just kind of envelops the person before they hit the ground. It's crazy.
That's very cool. You need to get one of those.
I certainly
Yeah.
do. Send me this link, please. I'm gonna reach out to the company that makes it and be like, I'm your guy for
Well,
marketing.
I can be your man.
I can be a
yeah,
man.
honestly, because when I've seen it advertised, it's for like the elderly. So you're like a whole different patient population that they probably haven't tapped into yet. And you'd be obviously like way more attractive than maybe 90-year-old Mima, you know?
It would
Yeah.
definitely get it out there
Well,
more.
guess what?
Yeah.
When 9-year-old Mima sees me falling in this thing, she's gonna say, "Buy me that." This this handsome young man. I couldn't believe it. The airbag deployed and he bounced back up.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Have they
send
ever
it to
done
you.
one of those scans on you before?
Well, they did something back when I was in the hospital, and it was like confirmed I had like osteoporosis in my feet. And that was no surprise if you had seen my feet
That's
back
not a
then. They were
surprise.
like twisted and
And has that
crazy.
gotten better? I mean, with PT and everything.
I mean, my feet have gone better. Are the bones stronger? Probably not.
Are you still using your scooter though, or not?
Yeah, for long distance, and I was kind of late and lazy to walk down here to my library. So yeah, took the scooter. But like in the house, no, it's all walker. I got rid of the
Okay,
wheelchair.
that's amazing.
No one advertised this recovery shit to me because they just thought I would die. So they never told me how complicated it was. A lot goes into it. The worst thing I had to deal with growing up was like the flu, and I broke my arm 3 times. Those were my
Great.
recoveries before this one.
It's a whole different type of recovery. It's like starting from being a infant again. You had to relearn everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
So Erica, what's on the docket for you? What are you most excited about for this year?
You know, I'm getting ready to do like a rebranding with the podcast because you know, took a little hit, as you may have seen.
What was that about?
Well, everything was fine. Like literally nothing happened. We were great. We were getting ready to do our 100th episode. We had consistently put out a new episode every single week, never skipped a week. Like we were doing great. And then she started a new podcast, but didn't tell me about it. Like hid it from me. And then she picked a fight with me and kind of went MIA and disappeared. And then I found out on Nurses Day, ironically, on Nurses Day, I was in Seattle about to give a keynote speech in my hotel room, getting ready, and I'm scrolling on TikTok and a video pops up of her new podcast. And I'm shocked and hurt because why would you hide that from me? You know, I had to go get on stage and be like Nurse Erica for all these, you know, hundreds of nurses on Nurses Day. And it was really hard because I was hurt. You know, we were friends, like we were very close. We talked every single day. Our lives were so intertwined. We traveled together to all these nursing events, and it was just so out of left field and didn't make any sense. So I've been reeling from that. And she unfortunately was like the gatekeeper of a lot of the logins to the different programs. They were tied to her email address. And so she kind of has made my life hell, allegedly, for months and months with going in and locking me out of all the various programs to be able to keep the podcast
Oh my
going.
God.
I think she really wanted to see me fail so that she could say, look, Erica couldn't do it without me. But I have. I've put out something like 25 episodes since she left. And I've taught myself how to do all the editing and all that stuff that she said I could never do. So I'm really proud of what I've done. But, you know, if I'm being honest, I still don't have access to a lot of things that I should have access to. And mind you, she signed off on this. You know, she said finally when I had a chance to talk to her, I don't want anything more to do with it. You can have it. I've got my new podcast. She signed the legal forms removing her from our LLC, and yet she still has withheld my access. And some of them, I just recently found this out, some of the earnings are still going to her. They're getting diverted. And it's not
Oh my
much, but
God.
it's just the point that it's been
Still.
6, 7 months and I'm still dealing with this. So I'm trying to
And
get
you,
things in place to do a big rebranding, you know?
And
I,
petty
Yeah.
of
I
her.
mean,
Very petty. Very petty.
Yeah, that's very petty and very childish. Like, if you want to go and do your own thing, that's
That's
fine.
fine. But just
But
be an adult.
why would she
That
try and hurt?
conversation.
Yeah, and why is she like trying to hurt you and like
I
make
think
things
my
more difficult for
theory,
you?
yeah, I think she just doesn't have the adult communication abilities to come to me and have that awkward conversation. You know, she should have come to me and said, "Hey, I'm kind of feeling pulled in another direction. I want out. This sucks. I'm really sorry. I don't want it to affect our friendship. What can we like let's come up with a plan to transition, you know?" And we could have done that and maintained the
Yep.
friendship. She could have maybe come back from time to time as like a guest host or something, you know, but she just really threw it all away and our friendship for nothing, for no reason.
I knew you guys as like really good friends. You were a team.
Yeah.
It was Nurse
Yeah.
Erica, Nurse Jessica, and
Yeah.
guys. So for me, just because I follow both of you,
Yeah.
things just pop up. People you follow, and hey, you know, it's just like this social media war. I don't know
Well,
how
I
to
said nothing for months
describe
and
with her.
months. I said absolutely nothing. And then in the background, I was trying to regain access and control to everything. And I had finally gotten the last thing on the list that I didn't have access to, literally to the day that I finally got access to the last thing. I sat down to edit a podcast and immediately it was like this huge concerted attack. And I started getting all of these notifications from every single account that is, have you changed your password? Someone has accessed your account, like all the alerts. My phone was going crazy, exploding.
Hmm.
And within 15 minutes, I was locked out of almost everything all over again. Like she literally sat down and said, I'm going to F her over in the worst way possible. So after months and months
Yeah.
of fighting and getting everything back in one fell swoop, she undid it all. Even though I had gone in and changed all the passwords, she somehow managed to use the default email to go in and mess it all up. So all of my months of being quiet and trying to keep it professional and not take it public was undone in 15 minutes. And I hit my threshold. And I said, you know what? I'm not protecting her
Yep.
anymore. I'm not. And so I made, I think, 2 or 3 videos saying, this is what she's done. This is what has happened. And they're still posted because I'm done protecting toxic people that just want to wreak havoc and hurt me.
Yeah, that's like a vicious thing to do. It's not like she just went and started her own thing. She's
Yeah.
actively trying to hurt you,
Sabotage.
trying to,
It was sabotage.
yeah, sabotage you and break everything that you've built. She's probably jealous of you. That's the only reason you want to hurt someone like that and tear them down. You're intimidated
I
by them
know.
or jealous of them.
What podcast is she doing? Like same concept?
No, it has nothing to do with nursing. It's called Decoding Celebrities and it's like Britney Spears conspiracy theory stuff. Like it's totally different. I don't even know if she's doing it anymore. I think she
What?
did like 10 episodes and I don't know. I haven't looked at it in a long time. I think she kind of stopped. I don't know. It all this for nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You'll come out stronger on the other end. Excited for your
Thank you.
rebranding.
Thank
Y-
you.
What's in store with that new feed?
I I don't know yet exactly how it's going to look. I'm getting some things in place to move forward with it. It's been a slow process. The challenging part is, we have her and I created some really important work together that I don't want to take it away. I don't want to take it down because they're really resources for the nurses out there. I hear from nurses every day with questions and concerns and how do I deal with this? And I will say, hey, go to episode 34 because that is a whole hour and a half devoted to answering this in great detail. Like they're really valuable episodes, a lot of them. And so I don't want to take that away from the nursing community, you know? And
Yeah.
at the same time, it's building on what her and I created. So, it's complicated. We'll see.
Always is. Always is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry all that happened.
Too.
Things happen for a reason, though.
Yeah,
It's a
Yeah.
bummer, but
did the little, I'm gonna coin it as a social media war, did that affect things? Did it help? I know conflict sometimes can get you more followers.
Did I lose some followers? Yeah. But I mean, ultimately, I'm way ahead anyway. So I'm not worried about that. It's just for me, I needed to be honest about it because she put me in a very liable situation. We had sponsors, we had contractual obligations, and she put me in a position, where I wasn't able to meet certain obligations. It was concerning. So there was legal ramifications, and then there was fans, loyal fans that had questions for a very long time, and I stayed silent. And that really wasn't fair to them. They deserved to know what was going on, you know? So I felt like it was worth it to be honest. And as long as I'm being honest and telling the truth about what happened, what are you going to say? And she tried to get her husband involved as a mediator. He wanted me to sign an NDA, which that alone tells you,
that's
you
crazy.
know, yeah, I have nothing to hide. So I'm not signing an
Right.
NDA. Everything I've said is
Right.
100% truthful. Why would I sign an NDA? She's the one who has things to hide. That's why they wanted me to sign an NDA. It's just ugly and immature and unnecessary. But ultimately, it's sad. It's sad because I lost a friend and a friendship for no reason. So,
It sucks. I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm
thank you.
glad you got the feed and are continuing on because like you said, it is a resource.
Yeah.
No, Adrian's a nurse. I know she knew of you before
Mm-hmm.
before I
Yeah.
even
Well, now
brought
I
it up.
follow you, but it comes across my feed a lot, and it's just interesting to hear everything. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's what my work does. It's crazy, you know.
Yeah.
And there's
Give
so
an
much.
example, Adrian. Give an example. What do
I
you
don't know
mean?
how much I could. Like management. I always say I could never work in management. I could never work in leadership because I don't think I would be able to bite my tongue when they're literally doing something that's all about the money and not in the best interest of the patient. I am. I'm not. I'm not good at it. I think it would be very interesting. You said you were in leadership for a little while and got to see like behind all the curtains. So I think it would be interesting to do it just for that, but I don't think I could ever do it long
That's
term.
what I
It's
used to
just,
say. It was never my plan to
yeah.
go into leadership. I'm the least likely person in the world. And honestly, I kind of have a big mouth, you may have noticed. And so not the like the best equipped person because I'm not going to stay quiet when I see wrongdoing. I'm not able to not speak up
Yeah.
when I see corruption or patient harm or something. I'm always going to be the one raising the flag every single time. So it's hard for me in leadership because that doesn't always go over well. And I've absolutely paid the price for it professionally.
I was gonna say a lot of pushback on that, because like, the
Yeah,
people that I see that come in and I'm like, "Oh my god, thank goodness you're here in this leadership position. Hopefully you can make a difference." They usually end up getting run out or burnt out or end up leaving because they're just like, I can't
yeah,
do anything. I can't fight against this system." And
yeah.
Question.
it sucks. Yes, you in the back, sir.
Maybe it's just because I'm not a nurse, but I am the patient, right? Like I spend a lot of time in hospitals. I am not following. I do not understand what you guys are talking about.
I mean, everything is
Leadership,
about profits, and making
yeah.
money.
I mean, for sure, but like,
So they purposely, for example, will not hire enough nurses, and because they want to increase their profit margins, right? So say this is a 40-bed unit and that based on that specialty you need 10 full-time nurses, whatever. I'm just picking round numbers. They will purposely only ever have 7 full-time nurses. And then they'll claim, well,
make
we
that
can't
30%.
hire anymore. Yeah, to keep the money, the difference, right? But then they'll hide behind the fake nursing shortage, which isn't fake or which isn't
Mhm.
real. We have more than enough nurses in this country, but they created this nursing shortage to get away with hiring and paying for less nurses so they can use the most convenient excuse ever invented. Oh, the nursing shortage. We're trying. We've got the positions listed. We're trying. There isn't enough nurses because there's a nationwide nursing shortage, which it's just not true. So as a result, you have each nurse having maybe 2, 3, 4 times more patients than they should safely. And then what does that result in? It results in patient harm. It results in avoidable, preventable patient death and complication because a nurse simply cannot be in that many places at once. So it's a
when you say,
constant,
Mhm. So
internal conflict,
crazy.
that nurses have to endure because we're consistently denied the resources that we need, and we're forced to do things at the expense of patient safety and humanity, honestly.
It bothers me.
when you say they, every CEO of a hospital, or is it some agency nationwide? Like, who is they?
Good question. The almighty they, it's pretty much the admin, the
Yeah.
C-suite in just about every single healthcare organization. Now, there's, a handful that do it okay, that do it better than others, but by and large, it is the administrative people in each healthcare organization and the American Hospital Association as well that constantly prioritize profits over patients.
It's very sad. It's very frustrating. It's like I feel
Yeah.
all you wanna do as a nurse is help people. That's why you got into the profession, and, your hands are just tied by upper management or by insurance or by whatever it may be all the time, and you just aren't able to care for patients the appropriate way, and it's so frustrating. And you say these things to management, "This person's not appropriate to be here. We need this if you want us to take care of this person properly. They're not appropriate for this level of care," things like that, and they're just like, "Oh, well, we're gonna take them anyway." Oh, well, we're gonna take them
Exactly.
anyway. Yep.
Yeah. So we
They just
spend
want people
years
in the
being
door.
trained how to take care of patients and what is safe and what is not. So we know what we should be doing and how to do it. But then we are constantly denied the resources to do it. We are constantly just confronted with roadblocks by management who simply do not care, whose bonus structures are based on how much they can
Wild.
screw the nurse out of, the unit out of, right? It's this constant internal conflict that we have,
And then
like
it's our
we're
licenses
used to
that are at
take.
risk,
Exactly.
and then it
Exactly.
falls on
Yeah.
us, even though we aren't
Yeah.
provided with the appropriate support for whatever it is we might be doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's so crazy. And I'm a very new nurse, I've only been in nursing. I got my LPN in 2023 and then my RN, in 2025, and it's
Oh,
just
you are new.
Very new, very, very, very new. And I've only worked really in one facility. But I know that this is everywhere. I have lots of friends, obviously, who are nurses, and it's just everywhere across the board, every facility. It's like upper management just they don't care. It's all about the bottom line. I understand it's a business. You guys got to do what you got to do. The business has to stay afloat. But why do we
Or
have to sacrifice patient care for your money? And why are you
yeah,
getting like ridiculous bonuses all the time if we're don't have enough money and, whatever, can't hire more nurses. Oh, we don't offer 40 a week, 40-hour a week positions anymore all of a sudden. Like you're pinching pennies everywhere, but your CEOs are getting an obscene amount of money. Obscene.
obscene, obscene. Yeah, you're not even given cost of living wage increases,
No.
right? Which means we are effectively earning less money year after year after year because you're not even keeping up with inflation. But yet you've got CEOs making 26 million a year, and it's not just them, it's the CFO, the CMO, all the C's, right? In the C-suite. They're all
All the
making millions of
C's.
dollars a year, and you won't even give a 2% wage increase to keep up. Come on. You can't find the money,
Yep.
but he just got a $5 million bonus on top of his multi-million dollar annual salary. Come on.
And by the way, we're a
Make it make
nonprofit.
sense. Yes.
That always
Yes. Oh
kills
my
me is
god.
the
Always.
nonprofits. I'm like, how is
Always.
that possible? You're not supposed to my
Yeah.
dog is snoring so loud right now. But it's like, you don't have this money. You're not supposed to be making money. How are you getting it just blows my mind. And like I said, I'm very new, so I am like just scraping the surface and it feels overwhelming sometimes. So it's always interesting to listen to. I'm like, you have this vast knowledge and all this experience. And it's just like there's so much to unpack in all of it. And every state is different and every facility is different. So it's just like
Yeah.
endless
So
Good for you though
information.
for going back to school and getting your RN. Good for you.
Thank you. I'm gonna keep going as soon as I work up the courage to get right back into school. I'm like, I'm schooled out for a little bit, but
Yeah, I
I'll
get
keep
it.
going.
Nurse Erica, what is the way to solve the fake nurse shortage?
Yeah, we need the media to report the truth, right? We need the media to stop listening to people that have a financial invested interest in lying about it. Listen to the nurses. Look at the numbers because the numbers don't lie, right? There's well over 5 million licensed nurses in this country, more than enough to fill the vacancies. Start asking the hard questions. Why are nurses not at the bedside? But they're out there, they're licensed, but they're refusing to work at the bedside in nursing homes and rehabs and hospitals. Why are they refusing to work there? It's not because there's a shortage of the number of nurses. It's because they're not willing to risk their lives and their license just simply by clocking into work every single day. Tell the true story.
Yeah, bedside nursing is rough these days.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've been in units that it's very clear they're very understaffed. I've been in hospitals that operate that way, and sometimes it gets worse for periods of time. And I've also been in hospitals where it's like that, but then moved to a different unit where it's like a spa. Why is like a spa in the sense of there are so many people they don't even they're chilling.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah. If there is really high turnover rates in any given unit, that is almost always indicative of a toxic nurse manager, right? So people leave managers more than they leave a job, right? So if you have a horrible, corrupt nurse manager, and the sad reality is that that is the norm, it's not the minority, it's the majority because we reward corrupt people that are willing to play the game of corruption and we promote them. So if you have that type of person leading a unit, you're going to have nurses leave and you're going to have a constant revolving door and you're not going to have enough nurses there. So if you're on a unit where people don't seem overtly stressed out, They seem like they enjoy coming to work. They've worked there for a long time. That's probably because they have a decent leader in place.
And those are the type
Yeah.
of places you can never get into because people
Yeah,
stay.
exactly. Yeah.
It's true. I
I
mean,
was
there's places down here, it's like, "Oh, this is a great place to work. I would love to work there." There's never any job openings because the people who
Yeah.
work there are treated well and really love their jobs and their managers. Yeah.
I was on this
Yeah.
one unit. It's in Mass General, and it's called Phillips House, and it's in Ellison. You visited me there, Adrian. I don't know if you remember.
I
It was
remember
high up, 22nd floor. You and your parents came in. I mean, I could barely talk, you know?
yeah, and we went downstairs in MGH and we
Yeah,
went
yeah.
under
And
the yeah, yeah, yeah.
I had these like moon boots on, my crazy feet, and this like I was driving a power wheelchair with like a contracted hand. I looked crazy, but it was freedom. That unit,
It was.
I just remember people being like, "Oh, you're in the ritzy unit. You're in the ritzy unit," and like it is definitely nicer. Even the beds, the it's like they got wooden furniture, doors that open. And my understanding was it was my doctor's like floor, and he was very renowned. He took care of the like rarest of the rare. But also, I remember my neighbor. It was back when David Ortiz was shot down in Dominican Republic. He was like my neighbor, and I'm not sure if like people paid extra money to go there, or like you had to be a celebrity, or like I didn't really understand, and I still don't understand. But this is a unit where I'm talking there are like 4 aides for every 2 rooms. Nurses are not stressed out. They're chilling, not chilling, but they're just
Yeah.
like a nurse would be able to feed me, and like I'd be like, "Hey, I
Yeah.
really want to write. Do you have a minute?" And she's like, "It's really light tonight, so yeah, I can help you write on the iPad for like 45 minutes." That
Wow.
was never happening anywhere else.
And you're in
No.
Massachusetts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in general, Massachusetts has really good healthcare compared to, like, say, Nevada, where I am. I think there was just a new ranking that came out, and I want to say Massachusetts was number one, followed by Minnesota as far as healthcare and stuff. And I think Nevada was like fourth from the bottom. So,
Oh my
in
god.
general, you have pretty good healthcare and resources in Massachusetts compared to the rest of the country.
And I
For
think about
sure.
that sometimes because I know that we do, and I'm like, I can't even imagine working in hospitals in some other states where it's like really, really bare minimum. Like we struggle here, and we
Yeah.
definitely have good health care. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you part of the union there, the Massachusetts Nurses Association?
I'm not. No, I'm
No,
not.
they're pretty
Pay your
strong too.
fucking
They're a good
dues,
union.
Adrian.
I should. I should.
Pay your dues.
Pay your dues.
All right, well, I think we're gonna wrap because it's been over an hour. Is there anything you want to say?
Just, I'm so proud of you
You
and
said it
happy for
all,
your
but
success. And thank you for inviting me on today.
thank you. Thank you. And next time I'm in Vegas, we're definitely gonna meet up, and
Yep.
my treat on lunch this time.
It was so
Thank you
good
for
to talk
having
to
me.
you.
Yeah, thank you so much.